Well, as we heard earlier from the chairman, Fadi Zuki, the ALCCI conducted the first Australian trade mission to Lebanon last October. And by all accounts, it was an amazing success and well-received mission, attended by some major companies and indeed some very special honorary delegates. And we have two of these delegates with us tonight to talk about the trade mission. Would you please welcome to the stage the newest patron of the ALCCI, the Honourable Philip Ruddock, MP.
Well, thank you very much for that very warm welcome. Can I acknowledge Fadi and Louis Flayful? Can I acknowledge Your Excellencies, Premier Emeritus, my many parliamentary colleagues that are here, including my leader, and can I acknowledge Monsignors and Reverend Fathers and friends. I am honoured to have been asked to be an honorary patron of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I have been privileged to know Fadi Zuki for a relatively short period of time, but I have not seen anybody with so much drive and initiative, somebody who has skills across so many areas, who has established a successful business that I think requires hands-on management, and yet in a very short period of time he has been able to find and has the capacity to deliver a very, very significant Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And he is building, I think, very positively on the people-to-people relationships. I was privileged to be a part of the delegation. I know that Fadi did not refer to his personal tragedy other than obliquely, but to be undertaking the leadership of such an important delegation and to continue with it, given the shocking tragedy of the death of his father, I think made me a person who is a great fan of him and his ability and his capacities. I said a little earlier that I think people-to-people relationships are of fundamental importance. And so many of the people who participated in the delegation were seeking to find out ways and means in which they may be able to explore future opportunities in Lebanon and for Lebanese to be able to explore opportunities here. I think that the Australian Chamber has the opportunity to not only foster relationships with Lebanon, but more broadly to provide a bridge to the whole of the Middle East if people have the drive and initiative that Fadi has himself brought to this task. I saw in the short time that I was there important initiatives, and I noticed the Zuki family had established already a centre of hospitality in one of the great universities of Lebanon, and I think he was demonstrating how others might be able to follow his example. I gather that many of those who participated in the delegation have been able to further some contracts, and I am sure as time goes on this will be a very important organisation that has helped to further the bilateral relationship. Congratulations, Fadi, on what you've been able to do in such a short period of time, and thank you for allowing me to be associated with you.
Philip Ruddock, thank you very much for those kind words. Would you please now welcome to our stage the editor of Anar Lebanese newspaper, Mr. Anwar Harb.
Thank you, Mike. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible evening. It is a motive that unites Australia and Lebanon, as we have the highest political and diplomatic dignitaries from both countries, including our guest of honor, the Honorable Walid Daouk, Minister for Information, representing His Excellency, the President of Lebanon, General Michel Sleiman. My friend, Minister Daouk, I welcome you to our beautiful Australia, the land of cedars, the land of freedom. I welcome you to Australia, the country that fought every war since 1914 to defeat dictators and totalitarian regimes for the sake of liberty and human rights. You come from our homeland. You come from the land that suffers and suffers and suffers. You come with a message of hope that this tiny country will regain its full independence and sovereignty and will rise again as the jewel of the Middle East. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to say a few words about a distinguished Australian Lebanese, Mr. Fadi Zouki, who has exercised what the great Lebanese philosopher Gibran Khalil Gibran has said: don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Many years later, the late American President John F. Kennedy repeated those famous words. Even though Fadi is an extremely successful man, he does not strive to be so. He was born to be a man of principle rather than worth, a great Lebanese migrant with exceptional loyalty to Australia. I'm proud to say that I have experienced these qualities personally. As Philip has mentioned, last year upon touching down to Lebanon for the Chamber's delegation, Fadi suddenly learned that his dear father had passed away back here in Melbourne. Fadi, being the type of man, he forsaked his own personal loss and heartbreak and continued on with the delegation as he placed his loyalty to his two countries before his misfortune. And along, the Honorable Philip Larrock, who was witness to this. We had also a couple of close witnesses in his lovely wife Mireille, and in a dynamic, his secretary, Miss Taylor. As Fadi, I am a proud Australian Lebanese, with people like Governor Marie Bashir, Steve Braggs, Reverend Father Antoine Tarabai, Joe Khattar, Joe Kairouz, Joe Rizq, Joe Assaf, George Gusain, Michael Dwaihi, Wally Wahbi, and many of you from Lebanese origin will contribute and could contribute to write the new history of Australia. I am also secure in the fact that Australia and Lebanon are well represented diplomatically with the two ambassadors, Dr. Jean Daniel in Canberra and Mr. Bartlem in Beirut. Finally, I recognize that this night reflects the success of your young chamber. Dear friends, nation building is not sentiment only, but hard work and dedication. That is the story of Fadi and his chamber. Long live Australia, long live Lebanon, and God bless you. Thank you.